to a mixed diet of solids. And this stage, we call it the weaning stage, which is a key stage of physiological and metabolic development. There are tendencies where the breast milk is not enough to provide all the nutrients that are required, maybe for the growth of the baby's brain, or maybe for the growth of the lungs, okay? Or maybe for the growth of what? The bones. The baby needs more calcium now. What happens? We have to wean off the baby. Weaning means what? You remove the baby from breast milk. All together, weaning. You're weaning the baby off from breast milk, okay? The consequences of imbalance in nutrition can be severe at this stage. Infants are very vulnerable to protein, energy, malnutrition, and to micronutrient deficiencies, okay? The baby is going to suffer from kwashiorkor. You know kwashiorkor? Yeah? It's a deficiency of what? Protein. The body is not eating enough protein, then they are definitely going to suffer from this. Marasmus, the baby is not consuming enough energy, the baby is most likely going to suffer from marasmus. But not only this, but we also have what you call micronutrient deficiencies, okay? These are macronutrient deficiencies. We also have micronutrient deficiencies, okay? Like what? Example? Like what? Like a deficiency is the disease. So you say the disease, like what happens when someone does not eat enough calcium? They suffer from what? Like osteoporosis, okay? We also have what you call anemia, okay? We also have what you call goiter. All these are micronutrient deficiencies. So what happens beyond beyond infancy? Nutrient demands begins to fall relative to body weight, but still remain high than seen in adults. Are we together? So we are saying the demands are, however, at their greatest at the time of puberty, when adolescents increase in the height and weight. Okay? That is, puberty is also beyond infancy. Okay? So at puberty, there is an increase in the body what? Weight. There is also an increase in the body what? Height. For the males, there is an increase in the body what? Muscles. Yeah? So there is increase in body fat in female as a result of fat deposition altered in response to the metabolic influences of the sex hormones. Proportions of muscle increase and the skeleton increases in size and degree of mineralization in men, okay? Nutrient supply must be of high quality to drive those processes. However, adolescents normally have extensive nutrient stores and are therefore more tolerant of periods of undernutrition than the preschool children, okay? So the preschool children are between 1 year to 5 years. These ones here, if they do not eat well, they are more likely to suffer from malnutrition. But adolescents, even if they do not meet the nutrient demands by the body, for them, they are less likely to suffer from malnutrition. So let's look at adults. We said you are looking at the nutritional changes across the entire lifespan. We've seen before conception, we've seen during infants, we've seen what happens beyond infants. Now we want to see what happens when someone is an adult, okay? So, remember we said the nutrient demand for adult is always below that of a what? Of a baby. Are we together? So the adult years have the lowest nutrient demands of any stage of life, okay? Meaning that an adult does not have to eat a lot of food. Sudi, you're not supposed to eat 3 angelo is a lot of food. what are you going to do with the rest of the energy? Adults are not supposed to eat a lot of food. That is what it means. Are we together? The nutrient demand. The body does not demand for a lot of nutrients from an adult. Except, we said, except when you are a woman preparing to get what? Pregnant, or maybe when you are in a poor physiological state. That is when you are sick, for instance. But if you're healthy, you don't have any problem, you're not preparing to get pregnant, your body does not demand for a lot of nutrients, okay? So here, growth is complete. Nutrients are required only for the maintenance of the physiological functions, okay? Meaning you need nutrients for the maintenance of your brain, proper functioning of the brain. You need nutrients because of the proper functioning of your eyes. You need nutrients to be able to walk, just to provide the energy that is required for you to be alive, okay? So the supply is well buffered through stores that protect those functions against adverse effects of undernutrition in the short term to medium term, okay? For example, if you eat a lot of carbohydrates, what is going to happen to the carbohydrates? It's going to be stored. Are we together? It's going to be stored as what? As fats in your body, okay? So these are what we call reserves, okay? So even if you don't eat too much nutrients, for you to be alive, for you to be able to walk, that can already be buffered using the reserves that you already have in your what? In your body. In developed countries, and increasingly so in developing countries, the main nutritional threat is overweight and obesity, okay? What this means is that people are careful. When you're an adult, you should be careful about what you eat. Are we together? It means you don't have to eat a lot of nutrients. You should eat small food. Why? You're scared of becoming what? Overweight. Okay? All of you here, you should actually be scared of becoming obese. It is not healthy. It is not good. Okay? These people are careful of what they are eating because they are scared they might become fat. So, it is difficult for adults to adjust energy intakes against declining physiological requirements and the usual fall in level of physical activity that accompany aging. Okay? Reducing energy intake while maintaining adequate intakes of micronutrients is a major challenge in elderly individuals as well. Okay? And the other problem is chronic illnesses, which is associated with aging. What is an example of a chronic illness? Like diabetes mellitus, okay? This one is a chronic illness, and this disease, most of the times, it affects people who are what? Who are old, okay? Why? Because people who are old, they are weak, they cannot walk, they cannot exercise, but they continue to eat. All together. So this is an exception. Remember, we said, what did we say about nutrient intake for people who are old? When you are old, what happens? Growth has what? Stopped. Are we together? Growth has what? Stopped. And if growth has stopped, it means you don't need a lot of nutrients. Except for women. For women, pregnancy and lactation represents special circumstances that may interrupt the adult years, which increase the demands for energy and nutrients. Are we together? We said adults are not supposed to consume a lot of nutrients. But a woman who is pregnant is also an adult, with the exception of women who are pregnant. Other adults, they just need enough nutrients for the physiological processes only. Okay? So nutrition is in itself an important determinant of fertility and the ability to reproduce. Okay? For example, a woman who is obese, usually it is very hard for them to become pregnant. A woman who is underweight, very hard for women who are underweight to become pregnant. Okay? That's why nutrition is also very important in determining the fertility and the ability to reproduce. In pregnancy, provision of nutrients must be increased for the growth and the development of the fetus and to drive the deposition of maternal tissues. For example, there are requirements for an increase in size of the uterus, for preparation of the breast, for lactation, and for formation of the placenta. Okay? Lactation is incredibly demanding in terms of the energy, proteins, and micronutrient provision to the infants via the milk. A woman who is lactating definitely requires a lot of nutrients because these nutrients are supposed to be passed on to the baby, especially protein, energy, and micronutrients. And this is where we're going to stop today, unless you have any question. Do you have any question?